Hello everyone and welcome to this week's ExtendScript QuickTip tutorial. In this one, I'm going to show you how to write a smart layer randomizer for After Effects with one line of code. What this will do is take any of your selected layers and randomize any property you want in just one line of code. So essentially what we're going to do is have all these layers here selected. I have 30 heptagon layers, and then what we're going to do is randomize the position of all of them in just one line of code. So all you have to do is make sure you have those layers selected and run the script. And as you can see, it randomizes the position, and I can just keep on running it and keep on generating different looks. And this is easily changeable. I could change any of the properties to be something else like opacity or scale or rotation, and then just adjust it to make sure that it matches the number of parameters. In this case, opacity just has one rather than an X and a Y position. And then we'll make sure it randomizes from 0 to 100. And now we can just keep on randomizing things with one line of code very simply. So let's just dive right in and write this from scratch and figure out how we can do this. So we're going to enclose everything in a for loop. So we're just going to write a for loop and no semicolon to end it. This is going to be our entire enclosure of the code. And we're going to start with a var I is equal to 0. And I is going to be less than our app.project.activeItem, which we're going to make the assumption that the user has both the composition selected and all of the layers selected. But to be honest, if they have any layers selected, that indicates that a comp is already selected. So we're going to grab the active item and assume it's a composition, and the selected layers, which will return an array full of the selected layers. Then we'll increment I by 1, and starting at selected layers I, which is going to be whichever was the first layer you selected, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to randomize one of the properties. So we're going to grab app.project.activeItem.selectedLayers, and I'm going to grab index I, and then we're going to grab the property Adobe transform group, and now we can choose whichever property we want, opacity, position, or scale. And let's go ahead and do scale this time. So I'll say Adobe scale, and then we're going to set the value to be something. And of course, we're going to end this with a semicolon because it's enclosed in our for loop. And actually, because I have a bunch of expressions applied to the scale, let's just go ahead and do the opacity. So I'll say Adobe opacity, and we're going to say math.floor. We're going to basically round whatever random number we get. And inside of the floor, we're going to say math.random, and it's a function, so we need to have the parentheses. And we'll multiply that by our app.project.activeItem.selectedLayersI.property, and since it's opacity, we know the range is 0 to 100, so we'll randomize it from times 100. Now if we go ahead and run this, you can see we're not running properly. Let's figure out what's wrong here. It looks like I forgot, instead of, we're not actually looping through just the selected layers, we're looping through the length of them. So now let's go ahead and try that. So now when we run it, you can see it's randomizing the opacity just fine between 0 and 100. And say we wanted to change the position, we could just change that to position. And instead of just 1, we need 2 values, so we'll put it inside of brackets here. And I can just copy and paste this bit of code here. And although it's not necessarily accurate, we can increase it here. And now when you run it, it's going to start randomizing them between 0 and 1,000. So what you could actually do is grab the composition, and for that we could randomize it between the width, dot width, and then for this one, randomize it by the height. And now when we run it, it's going to randomize it all around the comp just fine. So that's basically it for this quick tip tutorial, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit subscribe down below and the bell icon to be notified of when new videos come out twice weekly. And of course, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Follow us as well on Instagram down below, where you can be notified exactly when videos come out and see cool behind the scenes stuff. But as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.